Hey, what's going on everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. And if you want to be buds, make sure to fill up on some suds and tap that little beer mug at the bottom right hand corner of your screen. That makes you a subscriber. Being a subscriber is really cool. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post my next video for mechanic insight or tool reviews, or if you just want to be present when we go live on TGIF on Fridays. This is usually between 6 and 6:30 p.m. Pacific. I want to give a huge shout out to my girl Lexus. She just started her very first YouTube channel, her very first YouTube page. She dropped her first video a few days ago. So I want to give her a holler. Make sure to check her out. Her channel link will be down in the description. Make sure to stop on by and say hello from your boy. All right, so at any rate, let's go ahead and dive right on in. Look, guys, today, and I'm going to take a little quote from one of my other channels that I like to watch, which is LFR Family, and we're going to get real as fuck. Let's get into it. Man, look, being a mechanic is not all rainbows and unicorns, okay? It's not a pretty sight. There are things that you are going to have to face that are going to be challenges, that are going to challenge and make you question why you're even doing it, okay? And I'm not talking about the occasional cut or scrape when you're working around the engine bay on some of the sharp aluminum or the plastic zip ties, right, that you end up coming across. And you try to melt them down and tap them with your finger. That's a little trick to make them to where they're not so sharp. This is if it's your vehicle. If it's not your vehicle, don't worry about it, right? You're going to get cut up. You can't do anything about it. And who knows when you're going to see that vehicle again next. How about smacking your hand against cold metal, right? So it's cold out, and you hit your hand, that wrench or ratchet slips, bam, right against something that's hard, made out of metal. It hurts enough when it's warm out and it's a nice day. It hurts even more when it's a cold day. Am I right? A lot of you guys said you have no room to complain, my man. 30 degrees ain't that cold. We're working with negative 17 degrees Celsius. We're working in negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't want to live in that cold weather. I feel for you, especially my Canadians. Which I'm sure you guys have probably the longest winter out of anybody, right? Maybe my Alaskans too. There's a lot of places out there, though, that it's more cold than it ever is nice and warm. See, for me, I moved to the desert because I like the heat. I love and I thrive and I get so much more done when it's anywhere between, let's say, 75 to 120, okay? My ideal range, if I could have a consistent temperature, I would say between 75 and 105. That if they could be consistently around that temperature, I would be happy. But that's just not the case. Here's some other things. You see me not wearing safety glasses. That stuff happens, especially if you forget to put them on, right? I forget all the time. Sometimes I forget where I put them. Today I actually had them on. And I was disconnecting a vent hose to a fuel tank. A vent hose. Shouldn't be no fuel in there. And as I went to yank it down, it felt like someone took a large cup of fuel and just right into my eyes. All over my eyes, all over down my mouth, up my nose, all over my hoodie. It's cold, I got wind blowing through and I'm screaming and yelling for help. Shane comes over with a little tiny coffee cup and goes, pah, that's all I got. Let's go to the faucet. And I had to walk over there. I was blind, I couldn't see nothing. I want to say for at least 10 minutes, I'm sitting there trying to flush it out. My eyes still burn. Right now, they still burn. And I had safety protection on. And I'm working on an RV, on my back, on a creeper. The wind's blowing. This has got just miserable working in this kind of weather, inclement weather. I know guys that are out there that they tell me that they're having to wrench in snow. You might be a tow truck driver or just a truck driver in general, and you got to go throw chains on your tires. I'm sure you're out there in the snow just trying to put the chains and links on. Dude, I get it. I feel for you. But nothing said I ever wanted to do that in those temperatures. Okay, a lot of questions on whether or not the shop was heated and why the windows or the doors were open. A shop's not heated, okay? There ain't no heat in there. We don't even have an AC. What we do get is a portable swamp cooler from time to time that you can point it at yourself when it's summertime. I usually just use my body sweat as a portable swamp cooler for the most part. From time to time, very rarely will I grab a little portable swamp cooler, but there ain't no heating, there ain't no air conditioning, and our shop is like right within the wind flow, so wind just blows like all the time up here in the high desert. It's crazy. Other things that are really gonna beat you down and beat you up as a mechanic. How about the things that you can't control, right? Like some of the components that broke earlier this week that you guys saw on video footage, or parts that were incorrect. One of the biggest things is, like, I was finishing up the vet this morning actually, and put coolant in the system with the pressure test it. Now the radiator's blown. Coolant's just spewing out under less than 7 psi of pressure. Coolant pressure testing it, making sure that all clamps and everything is good to go before we road test it, right? And the radiator just goes. Well, it's not in stock. It's going to take a few days to get shipped, and it costs a few $100s. So do we eat that? Does the customer have to pay for it? I don't know. I don't know how the numbers actually break down, but it's discouraging to say the least, because that means I got to take it all back apart, and now I got to do a radiator on it. Time consuming. How about time-consuming projects that come into the shop? You guys know on this channel I've showed you the video clips of me working on that 7.3 that came in, looked like a crackhead, ripped it apart, and I was stuck trying to put all these pieces to the puzzle together. Honestly, there were times during that project that I thought they're literally testing me, and I can either quit or I can see if I can't test my own skills and see if I can't get it done. And with a lot of help, between the information I was able to get from Power Stroke Jude, a lot of patience, okay? A lot of patience from actually going through the fasteners and onesie, twosie, putting it back together, stuff like that. I reached out to Clay a couple times for a couple of sensor questions and things like that. We got it done. Today I really didn't feel any different. There was a time today that I was like, dude, between the weather, the gas getting in my eyes, and having to work on my back out here with the wind blowing and everything else, and I'm not getting the job done in a very timely manner, I just wanted to go home. There was nothing I wanted to do more than just to go home. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I was ready. My hands were up in there. I was like, in fact, an hour and a half up to the day, I found myself, I talked to the manager, she's like, okay, I got your next project, Ford Mustang, timing chain job. And I told him, I said, let's just start it tomorrow. I said, my eyes are still burning. My skin's starting to burn now. I ain't want to be here. I just want to go home. I want to go home. I want to take a shower. I want to get into some comfortable clothes. And by the way, that's another reason why I love these football jerseys so much, or just jerseys in general. It's one of the most comfortable items of clothing that I actually own, and I feel so relaxed when I'm wearing them. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to have a beer. I wanted to take a shower. I wanted to put on my comfortable clothes and try to bring myself back into my right state of mind. Because again, not every single day is going to be rainbows and unicorns and it's all amazing, right? I mean, you're not always going to have a perfect day. You cut your hand, you could, something happens, something that's heavy, it drops on you, right? Pinches your arm into the ground, or you slip and you end up cutting. There's so much stuff that you're going to go through as a mechanic that's going to be so nerve-wearing. It's going to wear on your nerves. It's going to mess with your psyche. It's really going to just question why you even do this for a living, to be honest. I was actually talking with Griff the other night. I had a great conversation with him, by the way. Great guy. Love having him as a friend and a follower. And we were discussing about some of the things that we did like about it. We like the ability of being able to work with our hands. And working on a car, you get to work with your hands a lot. You get new tools. You get to try out different stuff. It's a puzzle, right? So there's some question to the puzzle, and it can be fun from time to time. Like, it came in broken, can I fix it? But there's a lot of times that it can be very discouraging and very defeating. And I always try to keep a positive attitude on this channel and share with you guys ways that I've tried to teach myself to remain positive. But not every single day is a positive day. Even I have my down days. Even I have my worst days, There's some days when you're feeling sick, but you still have to work, that you're really going to feel the beat, the heat, the cold. It's just trying to figure out how to embrace the suck around that and still trying to keep the glass half full mentality. That's the hard part. See, it's It's easy when you ain't got nothing in your cup. But when you're trying to get to the top, it's a lot harder to keep it above half. And that's the part that I still try to figure out. There are some days that I'm still struggling trying to figure out how to keep it above half, right? So sometimes my shit's running on quarter tank, man. I'm being honest here, okay? There are times that my shit's running on quarter tank. Somehow or another, I managed to make it through it to another day, you know? There are a lot of things that I miss about the dealership for sure. Someone else was asking me, would I ever consider going back to the dealership? I think it was Lloyd from one of our live streams that we had a few weeks back. And I had put that through the thought process. But yeah, you know, I definitely had considered it. So I'm not weighing it out. There had been the thoughts of trying to open my own shop, and I had considered that. I haven't gotten rid of that either. I also get a lot of enjoyment from the people that I work with and the atmosphere that we have for the most part. It's the vehicles that sometimes will really get to me. Like the vehicles that I absolutely cannot stand working on. I cannot stand working on RVs or even tractors and side-by-sides, and you can even throw diesels in there if you want. I did not go to diesel school. And I was pretty sure that when I went to automotive school that I wasn't going to have to worry about working on diesel nothing unless I went to diesel school. But I found out real quick, fast, quick, and in a hurry that is not a thing. When you get to the real world, anything that has a dollar associated with, they're going to push down your damn throat and make you work on it, whether you like it or not, whether you signed up for that or did not. It's whatever they throw at you, and it sometimes pisses you off, and it really just makes it to where you don't want to work there anymore. I hate having shit shoved down my throat that I do not like working on or want to work on. And I try to be a good little soldier and soldier through it and just do what is asked of me. But the irritation continues to grow the more and more crap that I have to do that was not associated with something that I was trained up specifically to do. And it does get frustrating. It pisses you off because you're like, I'm not an RV tech. I did not go to RV school. I didn't go to an RV shop to apply for a job to be an RV tech. But here I am working on it. I didn't go to diesel mechanic school. Why the hell I got to work on them? I didn't go to tractor school. I didn't go to motorcycle school, which I do kind of get a lot of enjoyment out of working on motorcycles, believe it or not. Even Tommy does too. Tommy's got a side thing going on with motorcycles. And I think because it has to do with the nuts and bolts of it, and you kind of understand the basic combustional engine, because it's different, we kind of like it. But it's also smaller, right? It's also smaller, so that's not a big deal. It's when the shit gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like, to what end? To what end do you stop associating work with dollar value to keep the doors open or to even remain at the shop? I don't know. I have no answer for that. I just keep trying to do what it is that I do, but it's not all rainbows and unicorns, man. So that's my thought process for tonight. Just wanted to throw that out there. I wanted to give my girl Lexus a shout out again. Also wanted to give a shout out to LFR. Really appreciate the channel that he's got going on. We got a couple of slick shirts from them on the YouTubes. Love the support and feedback that we've been getting over the last few weeks. Been getting a lot more comments and questions about certain product releases or just questions about being a mechanic in general. And I just want to make sure that there's no false reality out there, because I think too many times there's too many mechanic channels that put off this false reality that everything is just sunshine and rainbows or unicorns and rainbows, right? Like everything's perfect, it's all fun and all the time. You get to play with all this, you get to do all this. It's not. It is a pain in the goddamn dick. That's the truth of it. But it pays well. So, what are you gonna do? I don't know. That's all I got. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.